with family and friends, we have lost one of the most illustrious, courageous, and beloved amongst us. Archbishop Desmond Tutu was one of our nation's finest patriots. He was a man of unwavering courage, of principled conviction, and whose life was spent in the service of others. He in many ways embodied the essence of our humanity. Knowing he had been ill for some time now does very little to lessen the blow that has been dealt to South Africa this very sad day. Uwile umthi omkhulu. We have lost a person who carried the burden of leadership with compassion, with dignity, with humility, and with such good humor. We are comforted in the knowledge that he has left an indelible mark in the lives of millions of people who had the privilege and honor of knowing him. Like many of his time, he was a witness to the gravest injustices and most intolerable cruelty that our country has ever witnessed. In his ministry, in his struggle against apartheid, and as chairperson of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, he saw the depths to which human beings could descend in the subjugation and oppression of others. And yet his faith in humanity and in people, like his faith in God, was unwavering. He knew in his soul that good would triumph over evil, that justice would prevail over iniquity, and that reconciliation would prevail over revenge and recrimination. He knew that apartheid would one day end and that democracy would come. He knew that our people would be free one day. By the same measure, he was convinced, even to the end of his life, that poverty, hunger, misery can be defeated, that all people can live together in peace, security, and comfort. He was a man of faith who throughout his life gave expression to the biblical teaching that without actions, faith is dead. For Desmond Mpilo Tutu, it was not enough that he should preach peace. He had to join with the people of this country, and indeed the people of all countries, in working tirelessly and diligently for the attainment of peace. It was not enough for him to bring God's blessings to the poor and the needy. He had to join the struggle for social justice, for development, for transformation, so that all may have the necessities of life. His brave and often critical voice lost no edge. He continued his work as a tireless campaigner for the rights of the oppressed. He was frank and forthright, speaking truth to power, even when this meant criticizing the democratic government. It was through both his words and his actions that he earned his distinguished place in the history of our nation's struggle for freedom. It was for these words and these actions, at the height of the brutality of the apartheid state, that he was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize. It was an honor that he accepted not for himself, but for all South Africans who stood for freedom, for peace and justice. And it was in receiving this great honor that he said, "There is no peace because there is no justice." It was a fundamental principle to which he held throughout his life. It is a principle to which we must remain true as we mourn his passing. Our country will not know peace, the peace that we seek, until we all have justice, until all have a place to sleep, enough to eat, until all children have an education, and until women feel safe in their homes and on our streets. In the days to come, we will mourn this global icon of peace and freedom as we must. We must and will pay tribute to a life lived in the service of God and in the service of his fellow women and men. We will recount his achievements, we will recall his teachings, and we will cherish fond memories of this man who always tempered criticism with compassion. President Mandela said of him that he was a voice that was sometimes strident, often tender, never afraid, and seldom without humor and laughter. If we truly wish to honor his memory, let us reaffirm through our actions his conviction that it is only through justice that we may attain peace. Let us declare and let us demonstrate that even though the body has departed, the spirit lives on, the struggle continues, and the dream that resided in Archbishop Tutu's heart endures. Tonight, we carry on with our thoughts and prayers with Mama Leah Tutu and the Tutu family. Our entire nation shares in your loss and your grief. Know that even at this moment of great pain, we rejoice in a life that was dedicated to the betterment of others. We acknowledge the tributes paid to Archbishop Desmond Tutu by people across the country and around the world, and I mean from many countries around the world. This is a testament of the broad reach of Desmond Tutu's enduring persona and enduring values. Our nation's loss is indeed a global bereavement. In honor of the life and contribution of Desmond Tutu, government will be led by the Anglican Church in the conduct of his funeral. There will be a period of mourning during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast at all flag stations countrywide and at South African diplomatic missions abroad. This will be observed from the time of the formal declaration of the funeral until the night before the funeral service. Details of the funeral and memorial services will be announced in the next few days. It cannot escape our notice that Archbishop Desmond Tutu departed this world at the time of year when much of humanity celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ. We cannot mourn his passing without recognizing the joy, the hope, and the light that the birth of Jesus Christ signified to Archbishop Desmond Tutu and continues to signify to people around the world. It was this joy, this hope, and this light that he preached and he celebrated throughout his life. It says much of the life and the meaning of Desmond Tutu that this is a time both of mourning and rejoicing. It is a time to pay respects to the departed and to celebrate life with the exuberance and the purpose of our beloved Archbishop Desmond Tutu. May we follow in his footsteps. May we too be worthy inheritors of the mantle of service, of selflessness, of courage, and of principled solidarity with the poor and marginalized. Above all, let us abide by the words of 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. And now, these three things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. He loved his fellow men and women. He loved the church. But he also loved his country. Go well, good and faithful servant. You will be sorely missed. May God bless South Africa and protect its wonderful people. Nkosi sikelele Afrika. I thank you.